Good morning. I'm Broward County Mayor Barbara Sharief. As many of you have seen, Broward County has gotten through the worst of this storm, and now it's about recovery efforts and cleanup. Thank you, Broward County. You're doing a fantastic job at listening and heeding the cautions and the warnings that we've put out. This morning, Broward County continues to focus on recovery efforts as we work together as a community to return to normal. Crews have been working overnight to clear roadways and restore power, and we're making tremendous progress, but there are still many roads with debris and residents without power. 89% of FPL customers have been affected by power outages. As of this morning, 484,000 or 37% were restored, and about 484,000 or 57% remain without power, and 310,000 have their power restored. We have a more detailed information report on the power restoration plan at the 3:30 news conference. The Federal Emergency Management Agency has declared Broward County eligible for individual assistance. FEMA disaster assistance can help support your recovery from a major disaster if you have damage or have suffered an impact that you believe will result in future damage. Register now either online at disasterassistance.gov or you can call 1-800-621-3362 to register. FEMA is encouraging homeowners to register early. All evacuation shelters have been evacuated by residents with one remaining open as a transitional shelter. The transitional shelter will close on Wednesday at 7 p.m. At this time, 72 people are remaining in that shelter. A major challenge this morning is the majority of the traffic lights that are completely out or are not working properly due to power outages. Broward County employees are working vigilantly to fix this problem. However, driving remains very hazardous. We want to remind everyone to treat improperly functioning traffic lights as a four-way stop and be mindful of the right-of-way. Please move slowly through the intersections. I know everybody has some place to go, but we must be cautious in getting there. Assistant points of distribution or pods will be set up as operated by the following cities: West Park, Sunrise, Dania Beach, and Pembroke Pines. Please call your local city for the location of the pod and the time that it will open. I also want to remind you that there are several grocery stores open, pharmacies, so please do not panic. We do have supplies, and food is not scarce, and neither is fuel in Broward County. Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport is now open, but travelers are urged to call their airline carriers or cruise lines for possible delays. There are a little over 46,000 landline telephone customers in certain exchanges around Oakland Park Boulevard and US 441, and 234 customers in the Pompano Beach area around Powerline Road who can't make or receive telephone calls, including 911. A list of these exchanges will be posted to the Broward County website. Broward County courts will remain closed today, and the decision to open courts will be made on a day-to-day basis. Bus service for the general public has begun at 7 a.m. today, and it is on a weekday schedule until further notice. Express service to and from Miami will also operate during these hours. TOPS and paratransit will also resume tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Customers with pre-scheduled trips should call to confirm pickup. Efforts are underway to open neighborhood parks as quickly as possible so that they can serve as information resource centers for residents. All other parks remain closed. Many residents are already piling debris curbside. Please follow your city's instructions for debris, cleanup, and removal. The Broward County landfill is open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. A number of businesses have already reopened. Check in your local community for grocery stores, pharmacies, fuel, and other essential services. But please remember, driving conditions are very dangerous. So if you're not having to be on the road, please stay off the road. In the city of Miramar, during an overnight repair of a sewer main line break in Country Club Ranches, a natural gas line was punctured on the 13200 block of Old Miramar Parkway. The gas leak was contained with no injuries reported. Miramar Parkway was temporarily closed, but it has now been reopened. Old Miramar Parkway remains closed for sewage line repair, and we would like for you, if you need to contact someone, contact the city for information, and that number is 954-602-HELP, H-E-L-P. That's 954-602-HELP. For those who are interested in volunteering, Hands on Broward is opening a volunteer reception center today from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The reception center is located at 5815 North Andrews Avenue in Fort Lauderdale. At this time, I have with me at this press conference our Vice Mayor Bean Fur, as well as our President of Broward Colleges, David Armstrong, and to my right we have Deputy Steve Kenzie on behalf of the Broward Sheriff's Office. I would like for Mr. Armstrong, President Armstrong, to come forward with a few remarks about the college.
Thank you, Mayor. And let me start off by thanking you, Mayor and Vice Mayor, the entire Emergency Operations Center that's just done an incredible job. I was one of the fortunate few who never lost power. And thank you to the media also for communicating out of this office so that we all know the status of what's going on. Within about 15 minutes of the curfew being lifted yesterday morning, I started touring our campuses and doing an assessment. We have, as you might imagine, you all know our campuses have a lot of beautiful trees. We have a lot of trees down, just like all of you do in your communities and in your backyards probably. So we're in the process of all of our emergency first responder team, if you will, are back on campus, and we're clearing the campuses, getting them back to safety so that we can, as rapidly as possible, be able to get our employees back on campuses and our students back in classes. We're making great progress on that. Across all of our campuses, we've had landscaping and grounds damage, of course, but most of our buildings are actually open. We have a little bit of water damage, we have a little bit of roof damage in some of the buildings, but we're still assessing and getting those back up and running. On our North Campus in Coconut Creek, we've got power to all of our buildings there except for one building, and that's our Student Services building. It's an important building also because it has our information systems in it that controls air conditioning on campuses. We're working very closely with Florida Power and Light to make that a priority. By the way, a huge shout out to Florida Power and Light. At least 80 to 90% of our facilities have power right now. That other 10% is critically important, and that's what they're working to help us get restored right now. On our campus in Davie, almost all of the buildings have power today. Our Institute of Public Safety that does our police officer training is not operational at this time, but we're working on that as a priority. Our library has some water damage. We're working with the city of Davie and all the other cities, by the way, to help us get recovered with water that can be used, etc. And our South Campus in Pembroke Pines, of course, there's some water issues there that the city's working hard on, and I understand is getting addressed. We've got a few buildings that have a little bit of damage, and we hope to get that back up and running as well. Our Miramar centers have power. We're getting those restored. And our Cypress Creek administrative location at Cypress Creek by Citrix is one of our critical buildings that is down. It has all of our information technology. Again, Florida Power and Light is working with us to make sure that we get that up. We have more and more staff are coming to campus. In fact, I've headed back to campus to work with our grounds crew to clear out limbs. Faculty, staff, and students, take care of your business today. Be safe. As the mayor said, the roads are, they still have some issues out there. Be safe if you're out on the roads. Take care of your issues. Watch for messages from us. When we send you a message that there's an all clear, then it will be time for you to be able to come back to campus. We will send out messages. Go to our website, go to our call centers, and you will be able to keep up with information there on the latest. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor.
At this time, I'm going to have Officer Steve Kenzie to come up and give remarks for Broward Sheriffs.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a reminder for everybody, the Broward Sheriff's Office is still working around the clock, being vigilant to protect this community. A few things we need to point out that we need your help with. One is if you're using a generator or a gas grill, make sure you keep those far away from windows, vents, and doors. That carbon monoxide gas is deadly. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, but it could be fatal. We want to remind you that if you are not a first responder or part of a city workforce, to stay off these roads. The faster we can get these roads clear, the faster we can get back to normal. We have a lot of people out sightseeing, Hurricane Irma was not a tourist attraction. We need you to stay home and shelter in place until we can get all these roads clear. And the final thing is we're still getting 911 calls to report power outages. That's not the right avenue for that. We need to keep 911 only for true emergencies. Call FP&L or get on the website if you need to report a power outage. And just know that the Sheriff's Office is going to be out there working hard, and we're going to get through this. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer. And that number to report power outages, again, is 1-800-4-OUTAGE. And let me tell you, you have to be patient. FPL is working as diligently as possible, and from the storm hitting to now, they've restored nearly 50% of the power. Over 300,000 people have been restored. So be patient. Give it a couple of days and let them do their job. Let the professionals handle the debris. Please do not wade into standing water. We are asking you for safety reasons. We do not want any of the down power lines to electrocute you. We have made it through this storm, Broward. With 0 deaths reported. We do not want any deaths related to accidental electrocution. Please stay out of standing water and abide by the requests from FPL. Thank you. At this time, I'll take questions from the reporters.
Mayor, do you know how many or what percentage of signals were out immediately after the storm, and then what percentage we're at now?
For the power?
Traffic signals.
Traffic signals. Oh, my goodness. I wouldn't give you a percentage, but I would say the majority of Broward County traffic signals were out after the storm. There were a few working right off of major expressways, but I don't have a percentage at this time.
Do you know now if it's still a majority?
No, right now it's still about half. Still about half.
There's been some second guessing from some city mayors about not reimposing a curfew. Do you have any response to their concerns? They think there should be a curfew from the county.
Well, you know what? If I stood up here and second guessed myself, we wouldn't be in the position we were in right now. What I have to say to them is, you know, when they run their cities, they run their cities. But running a county, I'm responsible for almost 2 million lives. And our goal is safety and protection of life, and we've done that. And we've shown that with the decisions that this county has made. And I'm not going to second guess myself because somebody else is. And I only have to say to those residents who live in those cities that are second guessing the county, we're doing the best job that we can to keep you safe, and we're going to continue to do that.
And so you still don't think a countywide curfew is appropriate?
No, we lifted the curfew. People need to start to get back to normal. Our goal right now is recovery and restoration, and that means that we need to get people back to work, get essential personnel back to work, get relief for the people who worked for the 5 days through the storm, and get the businesses back up and running. We know that hurricanes pose a huge financial impact to small businesses and to businesses around our county. People need to get back into work and get back to normal, and so we're going to work very hard to do that. No curfew right now is necessary. Any other questions?
You mentioned the pods are in some specific cities. Are they only for those cities' residents, or can anyone get supplies at those?
I believe the pods are set up through our disaster assistance and relief program, so anyone can go to the pods. They're just stationed in places that are easily accessible.
And do you know why those locations were picked?
Because the roads are clear in those locations right now, and pre-staging it was shown that there were increased populations of people in those areas, and so we did the best we could at trying to centralize resources. That's why we placed the pods in those areas. Any other questions?
President Armstrong, do you have a target date for reopening?
Not at this time. We would love to get open later this week, if at all possible, and that's what we're working toward, but we've got to get the safety issues taken care of and power in those last couple of places. If we get that taken care of by today or tomorrow at the latest, we might be able to open up for all employees at least. I'm not sure yet about classes, but we have communications, text messages that will go to all employees as well as all students as soon as we have an all clear and as soon as we have a plan for when we're going to start classes.
Does that conclude the questions? Thank you very much. Broward, be safe.